This video is only part of an unpaid, unbiased, in-depth review from an average rider's perspective, so check out the rest in the link below at thegoodride.com. If you want real advice, fill out the Me Harmony profile in the link below so I can help you properly. And if this video helps, please consider donating or buying through our links. Thanks for watching. Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and this is Clint. And we're here to talk about the Lynx. We are talking primarily about the Solid in this review. I rode the Solid. Clint rode the Split. I got it on the 32 TM3XD boots. God, I hate that name. Union Atlas and Burton Kendos. I got this in a wide variety of conditions, everything from a decent amount of powder, not amazing, but good enough, and some steep terrain, some good groomers, and spent a good amount of time on it. And to give you a short summary, this seems like the baby of the Crane and the Pagoda. It just seems like it has a little bit of that Pagoda nose and tail, so it floats a little better than the Crane, but it still has this kind of mountain freestyle personality to it as well. That's really fun, riding regular, riding switch. It has really good grip in hard snow. It has really good, not amazing, but really good float. It's not there with the Pagoda, but it's better than the Crane. It also turns really well in the steeps. It has this very versatile, all mountain to free ride kind of feel that I think a lot of people could appreciate. And let's get into sizing. This is a 158, and sometimes the 158s, like with the Goat and the Crane, they can feel a little big for me. And they feel just right for you,
yeah,
right?
I would say that's my size, definitely, but with the smaller boot size, it might feel a little big on some smaller sizes than a 10.
You calling me small? But yeah, I have size 9 boots.
Every board's a
You
wide
have
board.
size 10. Yeah.
You should be blessed.
Every day's a wide day.
Yeah.
But you're a 10, I'm a size 9. That's all the difference there.
Yeah.
And you like them wide.
I do.
I like them kind of normal size to sometimes wide, but they've got to be short. I'm very particular with that, like a lot of people with size 9s are. But yeah, I think this fit really well for me for what it is. I was asking them, what should I do? Should I size down to a 155? And they're like, no, just go with the 58 for this one.
Yeah.
And the 54 Goat and Crane feel a little too small. The 58 feels a little too big. This 58 felt just right.
Yeah.
So, but I'm also glad that they have a lot of in-between sizing instead of going from 54 to 58. Because
Definitely.
I would love a 56 Crane. I'd love a 56 Goat.
With that width and an extra
Yeah.
size there in between the 154 and the 158, I could see how that could really be advantageous in the resort.
Yeah. So look at our specs and decide for yourself there what would work for you. This is that same kind of cool hybrid camber that feels stable, doesn't really feel that locked in, but doesn't have that loose auto-spinny feel either, like a lot of hybrid rocker boards with rocker in the middle going to camber that doesn't touch all the way down. This has a little bit of early rise in the nose and the tail, but not too much to take away from that camber feel. And I felt like an intermediate could easily ride this, and you can skid turns pretty well with this, especially in oh shit situations like Clint had.
Definitely got to put this board through some particularly harsh conditions out in the backcountry on some variable ice, wind-boarded snow, and this thing was able to get me down the steeps, keeping those turns initiating while at the same time easily skidding those turns, not sliding out too much, although even in some spots it was so icy it was almost unavoidable.
Yeah. This slightly tapered directional shape along with this camber profile really just makes for a very balanced ride that doesn't feel that tapered, doesn't feel that back-footed. You don't have to put a lot of weight on your back foot. It appreciates a little more than a Crane, but it's far from a Pagoda or a Bonsai.
Yeah, I definitely like what you said about it being between the kind of the Crane and the Bonsai, because I definitely had a little bit more of that centered feel from the Crane. but not totally centered. I felt that nose. That rocker nose could still go over that kind of windboarded snow. It was definitely a nice mix.
Yeah, you can play around with your foot weighting here when you turn, and I like that. It's pretty like medium stiff right in the middle here, and right over the camber area, it's pretty stiff. But then in the nose, it's kind of medium soft, I would say, and the tail's kind of like medium, and the overall flex. And then when you add that, the nose, the tail in the center, you can see it has kind of overall a medium flex.
Yeah.
And what I like about that is you have that dynamic pop in the camber area, but you have the butterability in the nose and tail. So it's a real easy board to butter with, but it doesn't fall apart on you when you start picking up speed. Yeah, the nose and tail chatter, but they don't send it up into the middle of the board, and it definitely doesn't come into your joints. So this is a great all-day ride. I rode this in uneven terrain. I rode this in hard, micro-bumpy snow, and in both situations, the board still had that same kind of personality. It didn't change on you. And then you combine that with a camber profile that feels good in all conditions. You really have an amazing all conditions ride that I was really stoked on. Did everything that you wanted to do in almost every condition you want to ride.
It seems like Cardiff really is good at trying to harness those core values that everyone wants in a snowboard, where you want that edge control, you want that ability to skid a turn, but not compromising on the flex and the tip and tail, where you have that freestyle feel still, where you can still butter a board and it can handle the all mountain variable conditions, but still have that free ride feel.
You know, I think it's consistency without being boring.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a really hard thing to do. And when it comes to speed and base glide, we already kind of touched on speed in the chatter, but the base glide on this is not on par with the other Cardiff boards, but this is at a lower price point, so that's kind of expected. But it came to us well waxed, and it had very good glide for this price point, and it doesn't have that ultra fast Cardiff base, that black super glidey base.
On it.
That's not there, but it's good for what it is. And when it comes to edge hold, I was really impressed with this, the way it gripped, the way it handled harder snow. I even took it out on the same day as some Yes boards with disrupted side cuts. And I did get this in the morning when conditions were much more favorable. The groomers were still kind of perfect. And I got out on the Yes boards later in the day when the conditions were scraped away. The good stuff was scraped away, and there were a lot of like snow mint patches. But this was almost hanging there with the Yes boards. And I thought that was pretty cool. I think they're doing something very subtle with the side cut that allows it to grip a lot better than, let's say, a traditional side cut. There's some very mellow disruption. They've got grip in all the right places. When it comes to turn initiation, I felt that even though this was a little bit wider for my size 9s than I would normally want to ride for a board like this, it worked for me. And it was pretty quick edge to edge. I would say it's medium fast. But this side cut seems to have a lot of different personalities depending on how you want to ride. So when I needed to make a quick turn, skid out a turn in a tight spot in some moderately steep terrain at the top of Mount Bachelor at Summit one day, it just was there for me. And I think they call it perfect pivot. Sometimes that stuff can be just all marketing BS, but in this particular situation, I felt a really quick pivot. It really turns fast when you need it to. But then when you're out on groomers and you're riding in more normal terrain and you're just laying into a turn and you're really committing to that side cut, it has a really fun, balanced turning experience that has a good spring out of a turn for not having a just full-on camber, for having that much rocker. It's a really satisfying turning experience. I could circle carve, I could across the groomer carve, I could make down the line, drawn out, kind of long drawn out carves, and it did a really good job. So I think it's just a really fun turning and carving experience. And I think you were more backcountry, so you didn't really get to see what I got to see on groomers.
Didn't get to dig the edge in too much, but I have spent a lot of time this season on the Cardiff Bonsai split. And going from that to this, I really did appreciate how quickly it could turn in the trees, especially down low when we got into some softer stuff. It was definitely a lot quicker turning in the trees than that bonsai. But again, like I still had that balanced feel where like if I saw a little lip, I'd go over there and kind of hit that little tree popper over there, where I don't necessarily want to do that as much maybe with the bonsai. I thought it was a really nice balanced freestyle feel, easy to turn.
And the bonsai is like the gnarliest of all the Cardiff boards.
Yeah.
But even compared to the goat and the crane, I like the way this turns. It's not quite there with the pagoda, but it's
Crane
close.
just felt so truly. It felt very centered to me. Like I definitely, I could have rode that board either way and wouldn't notice if it was like that directional shape to it at all.
Yeah, and speaking of switch, it does ride switch really well. It's very doable either way. I was having a lot of fun taking this switch. And I'd ride this in a half pipe. I think I'd probably like the 155 a little better there.
Yeah.
Because I like a really quick turner. But still, I would have no problem with this 58. And I just thought it was kind of a fun, balanced ride. But getting into the good stuff, powder, you have a pretty decent setback on board. You've got a little taper. You've got a bigger nose than tail, but not massively bigger. But both the nose and tail are long, so you can ride this centered, ride switch and powder if you want, and you can get good float. I just love the way Cardiff board's plane, and this just takes it a step up from the crane. It kind of feels like if they made a Pagoda twin for powder.
Yeah.
It's not the ultra floater like the Pagoda, and I've gotten that and the split now and some pretty deep powder, especially early season. With the Pagoda 158 Pro Carbon. I got that in like waist deep, light, fluffy powder, and that hung in there where a lot of boards just couldn't get down the hill that day. You remember that day.
December was good.
Oh, here's the December. Yesterday's kisses.
Yeah.
Overall, I think this is a really good board. I love the price point. I love the versatility, and it's just going to be a very easy board to recommend for a wide variety of riders. And don't let the soft flex fool you. It's going to give you a lot more than you would think for the flex.
It's nice to see them have a board here that has a little bit lower of a price point without really sacrificing any of the features that we really like about Cardiff.